Hello, I'm Tracy Pierce. Thanks for joining me for this Live with the Animals video series. So this project really started, it was an inspiration out of what was happening in the world in March of 2020. I live in the US, and right around that time was when things with the coronavirus became very apparent. Places started going down into lockdown, shelter in place kind of orders, quarantine, all that kind of stuff. And I just became really curious what the animals thought about all of this, both the domestic and the wild animals. And my animal friends really encouraged me to just start doing some interviews live, do these videos, and to get their animal wisdom out there. So I listened to them, and gosh, I've lost count of how many videos we've done so far, because here we are, the first day of September, several months later, and I still have lots of animals coming forward who want to share wisdom with us. So that's what we're here for. So today we're going to talk with a red-tailed hawk. And I really hope that this is going to let me pull up the video of it. Let's see. Here we go. So this is a video I was able to capture of this. Oh, maybe it's not going to work. Red-tailed hawk here. Oh, that's unfortunate. All right. Well, unfortunately, that didn't work, but I do have a picture. So let's pull up this picture of the red-tailed hawk. So this is a red-tailed hawk that lives in my area, and I've seen it several times. And this particular day, it was it kept going from the top of a phone pole to the top of a phone pole. It was very obviously hunting. And I've seen it many times around the neighborhood. And I don't know, I've just been so interested in red-tailed hawks for many, many years. There's just something really special about them. I'm not sure what my own particular attraction to them is, but we are going to talk to this hawk today and see what kind of wisdom it would like to share with us. All right, so if you're joining me live on Zoom, you can enter your questions by clicking on the chat button and typing them in. If you're joining me live on Facebook, if you have questions, just type them into the comments. So I'm just going to get quiet and start tuning into this hawk. So what it's first showing me, I mean, it's very much in this picture, pointedly focused on something. And it's showing me, it's almost like looking through its eyes. It's showing there's a very kind of precision-like focus that the red-tailed hawk brings. And so that's part of its message that it brings. There's a way of, it's a predator-like kind of focus, like when you're really going for something, whether that's in work or maybe a fitness goal or something you're really working towards and putting effort towards. It's showing the wisdom of the red-tailed hawk can help bring this sort of laser precision focus. It's showing like tuning into red-tailed hawk. It's promoting itself as kind of a totem animal in a lot of ways. It's saying for people who need help with those kind of precision and moving forward things, like if you got a little statue or a picture or some kind of something that reminds you of a red-tailed hawk and putting it next to your desk or wherever you work, like whatever the focus thing is. Is it really just a matter of them tuning into the energy of the red-tailed hawk, or is there more to it than that? So, well, you could read up on red-tailed hawks too and learn about how they hunt in particular. It's really encouraging its hunting behavior as going after your goals kind of thing. Okay. I wonder what else you might like to tell us about that or anything else. This forum is kind of for you to share whatever you would like to share with us today. Okay, I'm not totally sure what this means quite yet. So he's showing like doing this precision kind of work brings a certain kind of pleasure. And it seems like to me he's trying to kind of differentiate between, you know, like sexual pleasure or more hedonistic, if you want to call it that kind of pleasure, versus this really focused. There's something very pleasurable it's saying about the focus and precision. Can you say more about that? I feel like okay, so what he's showing, yeah, it does feel like a, it's like no, not a he, I'm a she. Okay, thank you for that correction. So there's this splitting almost of the types of pleasure is what it's showing. So this it's showing like feminine pleasure can be much more sensual and touch and earthly kind of pleasure is what she is showing. And then there's this more kind of masculine um, kind of pleasure that is like almost a pleasure from getting work done, almost is what it feels like. Am I getting that right? Am I translating that correctly? She said, well, yes, that's kind of it. That's, you know, it's not really like to divide it into masculine and feminine energies like that isn't really 100% correct, but she's saying that's one way that maybe people can understand it a little bit better. Okay. So is there more you want to say about that? Or ways that we can get in touch with that precision or focus besides, you know, besides tuning into you? Well, what I'm bringing is, you know, I would like for you to tune into me. There is, okay, so I'm absolutely not trained in any shamanic stuff, but this hawk is showing me that there is a long history in shamanic traditions with the red-tailed hawk. There is something very special about this species. Okay, is there more you want to say about that? It's reminding me that, okay, I probably have read some more shamanic leaning kind of stuff about red-tailed hawk. It's reminding me of the Ted Andrews book. I believe it's called Animals Speak. The bird is, the hawk is recommending anyone who's really interested in that deeper level of the hawk and the shamanic tradition to read that book, or at least read the entry about red-tailed hawk in there. Okay. Take a look here for see if we have any questions at all. Okay, I'm not seeing any come up so far. So little, our hawk friend, actually you're quite big. Hawks can be quite big. I wonder, is there anything else that you really want to be sure to, wisdom you want to impart to us today, or anything you want to tell us about your current life? So this bird is showing itself to me as being around for at least 2 summers. It feels like it's like, no, I've been an adult for 2 summers. So it feels like, yeah, then that previous year was, so I'm guessing this bird's maybe about 3 years old. So what kind of things do you enjoy doing during the day? Well, hunting, of course. Anything else besides that? I mean, what do you do with your day when you're not hunting? It is showing there's a lot of stillness. showing like sitting in a tree or sitting on a telephone pole like this, there is a level of watching. It's a different, there isn't the focus kind of thing. It's more like I'm a tourist when I'm not hunting. It's like I'm just kind of watching and seeing what else is going on. Do you have a companion, or are you pretty much on your own most of the time? I'm on my own most of the time. It's showing like other birds, smaller birds. Maybe you've seen this. They sometimes when they see predator birds, the little birds will all kind of like gang up and make a lot of noise around the raptor. Usually it's some kind of raptor. So this raptor is, this particular red-tailed hawk is saying, I kind of consider those little birds my companions, even though they're like poking at me and trying to get me to go away. Like it's almost sort of a fun game for them. She says, well, I'm not sure if the little birds think of it that way, but to me, it's kind of funny. It's a nice distraction. Okay, that's interesting. So it sounds like you're generally on your own then. Yes, except for when the babies come. There is obviously the incubation period. She's showing like sitting on eggs. Have you? So you've had a round of babies then? She's showing two sets of babies. And what she's showing me is it looks like there were two eggs both times. So how is it then? Do you and the mate then take turns sitting on the eggs, or is it primarily you? Well, it is primarily me, she said, or it was. And it does look, she's showing me, it looks like it was the same mate both times. It's like they come together for the mating season and then they go their separate ways. Yeah, so she's showing me, so I was kind of asking her, I didn't say it out loud, I don't think, but where are the babies now? Do you see them? And she's showing, so this picture was taken, I think, the end of July or so. And she's saying by that time was about the time when they were starting to leave the nest and be able to take care of themselves. But she's showing that as part of the, still kind of keeping an eye, looking around. The two babies are still like in her territory zone. So there's a way that she kind of keeps an eye on them, she says. Okay. A moment to look for more questions at all. So I wonder what else you might like to share with us today about you, about the world. Like, I wonder what's your point of view on what's happening in the world with coronavirus and pandemic and all this economic stuff. Like, life just feels pretty different for the humans. I wonder if you have any perspective on this. So it's almost like it's showing that, well, this whole coronavirus thing is really just like a blip on the timeline. It's showing, like similar to maybe polio or some of the other Spanish flu viruses where, there was this big spike and then it came down, and there is this sort of natural progression of viruses to die out. Generally, most viruses, I know that's not true with all of them, but this bird is showing that that's what its view of the coronavirus is. So it's showing, I almost feel like the bird is kind of reaching up through its ancestors of red-tailed hawks that were around during those periods, and is showing like its ancestors viewing those. It keeps showing polio and the Spanish flu for some reason, probably because those are the viruses of the 1900s that really were a big deal. And yeah, it's showing like, you know, the birds back then saw the humans have this similar, like, oh, you know, like there was this uptick in, he's showing it almost like agitation or something. The humans as a whole, there's this kind of vibrating energy of like, oh, things getting shaken up in this particular way that viruses can bring. But again, it's just showing, it's just a blip, like blip, blip. Time goes on, nature keeps moving forward. He's saying the humans have this tendency to really want to control things. And it's these natural instances that, you know, it's showing like all these natural disasters that, gosh, 2020 has just been a mess of natural disasters as well. And like there's this agitation and stirring up of the human population. He says the wildlife kind of like stands back and watches it, but can see the human race as a whole doing that. Do you have any advice for us? Like, do we need to calm down, or it almost feels like maybe the shakeup creates something, or helps us move into the next thing, or yeah, it is like the shakeup gives momentum towards something else. Is what she's showing, and she's like, I don't view it as a bad thing. The human race needs to be kind of shaken up every once in a while. Make them question, make them evolve a little bit more. So the bird is showing too, like humans are on this sort of different path of consciousness, awakening, or something that animals are. Can you expand on that a little bit? It says, well, if you believe, there's plenty of models about human consciousness, right? But like in some models, I can't remember which religion talks about this. I believe it's an Indian one, but like if you look at life as an evolution, you know, like in the next life, like the rocks that were rocks in this life would be plants. The plants that were plants in this life will next be animals. The animals in that life will then become humans, and then the humans eventually become angels, right? There's this sort of progression, and it's showing that the beings who have ended up in human bodies have a different sort of evolution of consciousness that's happening for them than the animal life at this point, or the plant life at this time. Is there more you want to say about that, or is that enough? No, I think that's good. He says, okay. All right, so I'm going to take one last look for questions. I don't think we have any here today. All right, fantastic. I wonder, my red-tailed hawk friend, is there anything else you would like to share with us today before we close the space? I really bring this message of precision, and there's this way, you know, it's just reiterating, like if you're working on some kind of project or something that requires a lot of focus and precision, to bring the energy of the red-tailed hawk in. It's like you can even just imagine me sitting on your shoulder, if you like, if you're not afraid of my talons. Don't worry, in imaginary world, they won't hurt, he says. All right, thank you so much. All right, and thanks to all of our viewers who joined us here today. It's so much fun to talk to all these animals and hear what they have to share with us. So I plan to keep doing these for, who knows, the indeterminate future at the moment. So love to have you join us again. If you've missed any of the sessions and you'd like to check them out again, just hop on over to YouTube. I've got pretty much all of the videos uploaded there as well. So I hope to catch you again. And until next time, take care. Be well.